In the long public arc of Al Roker's life, the story of health has never been a single chapter neatly closed, but rather an ongoing journey marked by reckoning, humility, and the kind of perseverance that only becomes visible with time. And when framed through the lens of Ben Affleck's Sobriety, a raw look at his ongoing health journey, it becomes clear that the heart of the story is not celebrity or struggle, but the universal truth that healing is rarely linear and almost never private. For Al, whose familiar warmth has greeted millions of viewers for decades, the discipline of caring for his body and spirit has unfolded quietly alongside the demands of public life, a reminder to those now in their 60s that wellness is not a destination reached once and for all, but a daily commitment shaped by experience, setbacks, and renewed resolve. There were years when Al carried his challenges with a smile that reassured the nation, even as his own body demanded attention. And like Affleck's candid admissions about sobriety being a continuous process rather than a triumphant finish line, Al's health journey has been defined by honesty about limits, about fear, and about the courage it takes to change patterns ingrained over a lifetime. Deborah Roberts, his wife and steady partner, has stood beside him not as a silent supporter, but as an equal witness, someone who understands that real strength often looks like vulnerability shared in private moments, rather than resilience performed on screen. And for couples who have spent decades navigating illness, recovery, and aging together, their partnership feels deeply familiar, grounded in mutual respect rather than spectacle. As Al faced serious health scares that forced him to slow down, reassess priorities, and listen more carefully to his body, he embodied a lesson many in their 60s recognize all too well, that ignoring warning signs may feel brave in youth, but wisdom later in life means responding with care instead of denial. The poignancy of his journey lies not in the medical details, but in the emotional terrain, the quiet mornings of uncertainty, the gratitude that follows survival, and the humbling realization that independence must sometimes give way to interdependence. Deborah has spoken often about how these moments reshaped their marriage, not by weakening it, but by deepening it, teaching them both that love in later life is expressed less through grand gestures and more through vigilance, patience, and presence, values that resonate with viewers who have learned that devotion often reveals itself in doctors' waiting rooms and late-night conversations rather than romantic milestones. Like Affleck's acknowledgement that sobriety requires constant awareness and recommitment, Al's approach to health has become one of mindful consistency, choosing rest without guilt, accepting help without shame, and understanding that recovery is as much emotional as it is physical. For a generation raised to equate endurance with silence, his willingness to speak openly about ongoing health challenges offers a quiet permission to others to do the same, to admit that strength can coexist with limitation, and that asking for support does not diminish dignity. Al's presence on television today carries a different weight than it did decades ago, not because it has lost energy, but because it has gained perspective, shaped by experiences that remind him and his audience that time is finite and therefore precious. Deborah often reflects on how these trials clarified what truly matters, shifting their focus from relentless schedules to meaningful moments, from proving resilience to preserving well-being. A recalibration that mirrors the internal shifts many viewers face as they step into retirement or contemplate the next chapter of life. The emotional arc of Al Roker's health journey is not one of triumph over adversity in the dramatic sense, but of coexistence with reality, an understanding that some battles do not end, they simply evolve, requiring attentiveness rather than conquest. In this way, his story aligns powerfully with the broader message behind Affleck's sobriety narrative, that progress is measured not by perfection, but by persistence, by the willingness to begin again each day with intention. For those in their 60s who have seen friends falter, partners struggle, and their own bodies change in unexpected ways, Al and Deborah's journey offers reassurance that a meaningful life does not depend on uninterrupted health, but on adaptability, love, and the courage to keep showing up. There is a quiet grace in how Al now speaks about gratitude, not as a cliché, but as a lived awareness sharpened by vulnerability, and it is this grace that leaves a lasting impression, reminding viewers that while public life may magnify success, it also magnifies responsibility, the responsibility to model honesty, balance, and compassion. Ultimately, Al Roker's ongoing health journey is not about what he has endured, but about what he continues to choose: care over complacency, connection over isolation, and hope grounded in realism rather than denial. And for an audience that has lived long enough to understand that healing is not a headline but a habit, his story resonates not as inspiration from afar, but as a reflection of their own ongoing commitment to live fully, thoughtfully, and with the quiet courage that comes from accepting that every day we wake up willing to try again is, in itself, a profound victory.